have been infiltrating the music scene and using it as an opportunity to prey on people. And I think that's fucked up. Don't you think that's fucked up? Yeah! This song is about killing paedophiles. Yes! And it's called Curb Stomp Your Local Nuts. And I want to hear you singing along on the chorus. It's just curb stomp. No, you'll get it. If you don't want to sing along, just move a bit, alright?
People need to understand that the group of disabled people is the only minority that everyone can become a part of just like that.
Right.
You can be born disabled, you can have a freak accident and become disabled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you treat disabled people like crap and then in a few years you're disabled, you kind of got to reap what you sow.
Right.
In the media, a lot of it is focused only on people with very, very visible disabilities.
Right.
And I think that people like myself, because if I were just walking on the street and I wasn't using my cane,
mm-hmm.
unless I was limping noticeably because I was having a bad day, a lot of people wouldn't assume that I was disabled.
Okay, yeah.
And I think there needs to be a lot more education around the different ways that disability can look and how easy it is to just accommodate for us.
Right.
Just have a couple of chairs at the edge of the room, and instead of, I've noticed it shows, if there's any chairs, people dump all their stuff on it.
Right.
And so
hello, and good existence to everyone out there in this ever-expanding universe. You have been fortunate enough to be chosen to participate in this new Millennium's punk rock-based podcast. Let's ruin our lives! Together, we will discuss very important issues such as music, comedy, pain, spiritual extortion, the importance of kindness and of love, freedom through ritual ecstasy, and the completely unbearable weight of authoritarian compliance. Please enjoy your show, subscribe, like, and comment below, and always remember that William Blake said, "I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's." Now have a good life. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. I must create a system or be enslaved by another man's. Let's ruin our lives.
Getting pissed at high tides, chewing up like cyanide. Please don't revive. Let's ruin our lives. Some pills in acid, nails in my casket. That sounds romantic. To just ruin our lives.
それじゃあビデオ見てもらいます。寝んなよ。
Good morning, everybody. I am Josh Hensley, your host of Let's Ruin Our Lives, where we talk about music, comedy, and pain for some reason. I'm a former poet and musician. I'm not very good at intros, but anyways, talking with me today for the very first time from all the way over in Britain, the United Kingdom, it is Luciyan of Creeping Embers. Welcome on, my friend.
Very glad to be here. Really excited, actually, to get into this.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thank you again so much for coming on. Again, great band, great music. Is there a bit of a Crass influence?
Yeah, no, that's me.
Oh, okay, nice.
I liked them a lot when I was first getting into punk, when I was like, I don't know, 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Crass, Buzzcocks, Stiff Little Fingers.
Oh, nice.
And then later on, bands like Destroy Boys.
Nice, for sure. Stiff Little Fingers don't get enough credit. Like, there would be no Green Day, no Blink-182. I mean, they're so much better than both those bands, but, you know.
I mean, I like all three bands, but I have my favorite.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so, I mean, I guess sort of like a post-punk vibe, or whatever you want to call it. On your Instagram, it says grimly theatrical queer noise. Could you explain that?
We have some very visceral visuals. I have this whole like wounded animal thing. We cover ourselves in fake blood. I throw myself around on the stage and scream.
Oh, okay.
And the whole theme around my lyrics is that they are they don't shy away from anything. They're very visceral. They're very gritty, and a lot of them are based on my experience as a queer person, as a trans masculine person, as a disabled person. I suppose we just have a theatrical vibe, and we got described as grimly theatrical once by someone who came down to one of our shows. It was we actually really, really like that, and think that suits.
Yeah,
and it just stuck.
Oh, cool! It's very cool. So I noticed that you're going to be playing at a Methodist church tomorrow, or I guess is that today for you, or that'd be tomorrow?
No, it is tomorrow.
Okay.
I hope it's not.
So, you know, punk and religion, they're usually like at odds. What is the appeal of this church, I guess, or like what makes them open to punk rock?
So we didn't actually choose this venue. We're playing a collection of fundraisers for a trans man called Harley, who's been left halfway through his cat.
Okay.
And he's involved with the Christian community in the local area. I mean, we don't have a problem with any religion as long as you respect other people.
Right.
It's the basis more of respect than belief. So the last venue that we played as part of this fundraiser was another church, and the architecture in there, it was just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the architecture in these buildings.
I saw pictures of that. Was that a Catholic church?
I believe so.
Yeah, it looked like it. It had that old Gothic style.
Yeah. There was an enormous organ in the back, and you just walk in, and to your left, you can see all the pipes of it on the wall.
Nice.
Fascinating to me how the entire building is just one big instrument.
Right. Oh, yeah, I guess I never thought about that. Did you get to play the organ?
No, I weren't allowed to touch that. That was very much no. The player will be upset with you.
For sure.
Okay, I look at it from afar and think, oh, that's very pretty, and it probably sounds very nice.
Yeah, I imagine so. That's cool.
But, I mean, we'll play pretty much anywhere. So as soon as they let the venue as a church, we're like, cool. Not played a church yet.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I think that's really cool. It's also, I mean, it's really cool of them, you know, they're one of the good ones or whatever. I'm not anti-religion in any way, you know, we wouldn't have civilization without it, but obviously it's responsible for a lot of bad things also.
Exactly.
You know,
it's a two-sided coin. You have to consider both sides.
In a way, it's kind of like the perfect metaphor for humanity itself. You know what I mean? Like this embrace of like beauty and denial of animal savagery, but at the same time being savage animals. You know, like
that is a very good way of putting it.
Thanks. I try.
That's very well encapsulated. Actually,
Yeah.
Because try very hard to get away from what is inherently our nature.
Exactly. Yeah. So how did Creeping Embers come to be? And you used to be called Burnt Lung?
That is correct. So I've been in quite a few bands. I drum, I do vocals. Vocals is my main thing.
Yeah.
I've got a real passion for live music, but unfortunately a lot of bands just didn't work out because people... it was just a little thing for them, and so they wouldn't turn up to rehearsals, or there'd be like little disagreements and stuff like that. And I thought, well, a lot of my differences with the people in these bands is that I'm the only trans person. So I'm going to form where we're all queer, we're all trans.
Right.
Because then there won't be nitpicky arguments on certain lines of...
interesting, yeah.
And so I formed this band, and I found a couple of friends. Evie, our bass player, I've known for a few years. We used to model together. Charlie, our drummer, I've known them for also about a couple of years, just through mutual friends. It just sort of came together, and we were really excited, and the project's going really well. It's time to release our first piece of music, and it's, wow, another band called Burnt Lung has just released an album exactly before we were going to release ours.
Yeah.
So, well, we don't want to step on their toes. They were I believe, Colorado stoner doom band. Really cool.
Oh, nice.
And so it was all, well, we don't want to step on their toes, so we'll change the name out of respect.
Sure.
And wanted to keep, like, the fire vibe. And a friend of mine made a comment about the plant Creeping Thyme, I believe it was. And then it was, that kind of, Creeping Embers, that kind of worked. But I drifted it to the back. Like, yep.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Had a big long list and something like that.
It's cool. And you formed in 2024?
That's correct, mate.
How long have you been playing music for? Like, did you start as a child in school, or?
Well, I mean, I was doing, like, theatre, vocal lessons and music stuff from the age of, like, 5 or 6.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I used to smooth jazz, actually.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is quite a job.
Yeah.
To go from smooth jazz to what I do on stage now.
Right.
But I've only seriously been involved for the last, like, I want to say 4 to 5 years. It was like when I was about 16. I got to college and was like, I want to do art, and this isn't quite for me. And conveniently, there's a music course there. I guess I'll give it a try, and it just sort of ignited a passion for live music. Okay,
awesome. What is that course like? Is it a whole program where you get like a degree, or?
Yeah, no, I did get a degree from it.
Nice.
It was, I can't remember in college.
Well, you have a degree already.
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
Only that's not very major.
Sure, I mean, still.
Yeah, it was mostly a creative arts focused college. They did music, games development, art, fashion, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. There was like a whole theatre course. There was a girl that I was dating at the time who was on the props course, and it just fascinated me going in the workshop every time.
Right.
Because you go in there and they had this huge, like, the Lord of the Rings series, The Hobbit, the dragons.
Right.
They had like giant replica of his head, like, up on one of the walls that just loomed over as you walked in. Oh, cool.
Very cool. I like that. Okay, what are the main or actually before I ask this, do you ever bring the jazz into Creeping Embers or into your music?
Slightly. I mean, in the rehearsal rooms, we'll do like a jab, and it will go from something heavy to like a jazz interlude. And they don't tend to like make it too much for sounds. I mean, occasionally we use jazzy time. That's more Charlie. I guess some of the technique, because it's, at least to me, feels very similar, and like I'm using very similar parts of the chest as I would to project my voice in jazz as I am to scream now. It's been really interesting navigating that and seeing how the techniques cross over, because I really think if I hadn't had that foundation in jazz, I wouldn't have any idea what I was doing, really.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, even like in the music itself, you know, you guys aren't the typical like 3-chord punk band. Like you're pretty experimental in the riffs, and I notice in the bass playing, especially in the song "Turd," like the right after the chorus, how it's like going lower and then high. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, even incredible. You should see that pedal board. The thing's huge. I just sit there and look and try to work out what they do. And I did.
For sure. Pedal boards are fun. What are the band's main influences, not necessarily musically?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of influence from the goth scene visually. Both myself and Evie very much like to dabble in that. But, I mean, musically, we're quite influenced by bands like Lamborghini Girls, The Users, Destroy Boys, queer punk bands like Riot Girl and what came after that, but not the transphobic Riot Girl. The whole queercore movement as a whole, the aesthetics of it, because there's a very lively queer scene here in Brighton.
Okay.
And so it's, I guess, partially influenced by our peers and all of the culture around us. We all just kind of borrow from whatever and go, hey, do you want to randomly put this thing that probably shouldn't be in this genre here? And we all go, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, that's punk right there. Have you ever faced like any discrimination or prejudice as a queer band?
I mean, not like particularly bad towards the band itself. We have a lot of people dismiss us and be like, oh, they're not that good, they're not very original, they're, you know, whatever, don't bother.
Right.
But it doesn't really stem too far into like outright homophobia, because that's a lot more harshly frowned on. Right,
for sure. Interesting. Like, you know, I have a kid, so I haven't really been able to like be active in the scene in a very long time, in like 10 years. And when I played music, it was in Los Angeles, and there were definitely a lot of like, you know, like gay people in the scene and stuff. I was in like a goth punk band, which seemed to be a lot more accepting in general. You know, so it makes me wonder, like, the American punk scene versus like the UK punk scene, or just sort of in general, like. I imagine, have you ever been to the United States?
No. So I wouldn't at the moment with a lot of the anti-trans legislation.
I was going to say, yeah. Yeah, the Trump really...
It's a shame because that's beautiful areas. And sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no. I was just going to say Trump really emboldened like the worst of us, you know, and brought out that hate.
We're having that a lot at the moment over here as well.
Yeah.
It's really disturbing to just watch the votes and the numbers for Reform UK tick up.
Okay, yeah. On one of your posts, there's been an increase in violence towards trans people. Really?
Yeah, the media here, they look for a scapegoat and they land on immigrants, brown people, or trans people, usually.
Right.
And if those people are the target, it's disabled people.
Interesting.
It's any that can be othered and alienated is then dehumanized. And fortunately, with the dehumanization of us in media, it emboldens people to treat us poorly.
Right.
It's, you know, newspapers like the Daily Mail and things like that. They will frame trans women almost always as predatory, and trans men and non-binary people just don't exist to them.
Wow.
It's really frustrating.
Yeah, very like America. When do you think, I mean, I imagine, aspects of that have always been around just like everywhere else, but do you think that the presence of Trump as president in the United States somehow leaked over, like that influence leaked over to the
Definitely.
UK? Really?
Absolutely. When America sneezes, the UK catches a cold. I've had people come to me in the street and yell things, and they'd be like, Trump 2028, and I'm like,
what? Really?
Yeah, no, actually. And I'm
wow.
Like, And usually they don't actually fathom what it is that they're saying. They've just been online and gone, oh, I'm going to agree with that because all of my friends are agreeing with that, without realizing that what they're saying is quite pleasant.
Wow, that's horrible. I had a feeling, but that's wicked. That saying that you just said, when America sneezes, the UK catches a cold. That's very interesting. What was there a big shift in culture during Brexit? Or I mean, that was a few years ago, but
I mean, it mostly just like increased the media focus on the far right.
Okay.
Probably far right content that was being put out increased, and that still continues. So a lot of people feel justified to be xenophobic, homophobic, racist, because there's more of them in the media.
Right.
If they're seeing everywhere that people are, putting up flags and attacking people going down the streets and screaming around people, telling them to go back to where they came from, and all this disgusting behavior, and they think, oh, they're doing it, so I can do it too.
Right, yeah. Wow, that is a shame. I guess
they're really frustrating flock mentality.
Yeah, no, yeah, I understand. I live in Arizona, so I don't know if you're familiar with the reputation, and I live in Phoenix, the capital, which is like the conservative stronghold of Arizona. Other cities are much more liberal and bordering on like hippie and punk cities. But that is a shame. That really is just like the fascist playbook, right? Going after immigrants, after disabled, after queer people. Yeah. It's history repeating itself.
Oh, it's absolutely, and it's so tiring.
Yeah.
Not only being a part of a minority, but being friends with people who are, because the main political target at the moment is specifically trans women of color. They disproportionately get more violence. I believe the statistic is something like 90 to 97% of trans people who are murdered are trans women of color.
Wow.
And the media is just hammering down on them and anyone else in the vicinity, anyone that tries to protect them or defend them, anything. And it's a real shame because it's so easy to just not be hateful. It takes more energy to walk up to someone like me, call me a slur, and throw a beer bottle than it does to just walk past and continue with your day.
Well, definitely, amen to that. Have you noticed how much, and maybe this is like a hackneyed idea at this point, but how much hatred really ages a person? Like,
yeah,
right?
No,
like,
it does.
All these alt-right people look horrible. Like Charlie Kirk was 31. I'm 39. He looked older than me. Like, that's crazy.
Like he was in his late 40s, maybe.
I know, right?
Well, it'll be that they're in such a perpetual state of physical stress because everything around them in their mind is wrong and it's dangerous. That other people are just existing, and so they're in a perpetual, minimized but still perpetual state of fight or flight.
Yeah, definitely. My good friend, my best friend, actually, she has this like idea, hypothesis, whatever, that alt-right people or whatever, those who tend to be like homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, that their amygdala has a physical difference. That there is a physical like there have been studies between like liberals and conservatives, right? And like they show like similar brain activity, but I think right-wing people who are constantly afraid, like you said, their fight or flight is always activated. So like they're causing physical differences in their brain. Either they were born with it, or it's inherited through life or whatever.
It only takes 2 to 3 months of being constantly bombarded with fear-mongering material to create new synapses in the brain,
right,
and permanently ingrain that in there. because there is the fear response, and the natural aversion is away from the it's a very intrinsic primal thing to that thing is scary, I want to leave.
Right, yeah. Which is, I mean, that's a good point, right? Like, we have this nature within us to, like, blame the other for stuff that's wrong with us, Like, where do you think the whole, like, latching onto self-righteousness comes from? Like, is it religion, government? Do you think that's also natural? Like, to say that, like, they're bad, we're better.
I think it has come from a place of people deciding that they want more and they want more power. And to get that power, I don't know, think about it as you've got a handful of sweets on the table, and everyone wants some and everyone's got an equal pile, but you decide you want more.
Right.
And the only way to get more is to take from someone else's pile.
Right.
And eventually that leads to one group, usually white, cisgender, heterosexual, Christian men, stealing from everyone else's pile and then saying, you never had a right to it anyway, and I have a right to it because I said so. Very true.
Very true. Okay, we don't have to talk about this stuff too much. But, I do have a question for you. Is the media, like, in the UK as straight up with, like, their hatred of, like, who they consider to be the others? Because, like, in America, like, it's still kind of like, obviously I always say, like, with Trump, they've taken off the white hood. You know what I mean? Like, they've revealed what America always really has been, which is a fascist dictatorship or whatever, posing as a freedom, progressive democracy. But there's very few media personalities or politicians who are outright with their hatred. Like, Charlie Kirk was one of them. You know what I mean? There are influencers or whatever, but they're not usually just, like, saying stuff like, the dirty Muslims or whatever. There's this new chick who's saying that, who's 26 and looks like she's 45. It's insane. But, but, like, is the media as bold and brazen with their hatred?
It really depends. A lot of the time, to someone that actually knows what is being said there, yes, it's very obvious. But the language that is used is often intentionally to deceive, because a lot of people, I don't know, wanting to actually be able to trust in the people running the country, think, well, the politicians wouldn't lie to me because they work for me and my country and have my best interests in heart, without considering actually that corrupt and all they care about is themselves and money. So when you get, like, Nigel Farage say, I'm not a racist, and then claim to deport, I think it was like 3 million people or something like that, and it's like,
wow.
All of this stop the boats rhetoric. All I have to say about that really is there wouldn't be refugees if British colonies and Western civilizations weren't creating wars constantly. And placing people.
True, very true. And even going back in history, with all the, like, anti-Muslim hate, if it wasn't for the Muslim conquering of huge parts of Europe would have never had a Renaissance, because Europe didn't know anything at the time. And you could say there would be no America without the Renaissance, because those ideas inspired the so-called founding fathers, right? Like, in a way, medicine, science, history, religion, like the Muslims held on to all of that while Europe was living in literal dark ages. But I've ranted about that before. Okay.
Admirable.
Okay, well, we've covered a lot of the politics here. So I'm interested in your city of Brighton. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. So it seems to be a pretty, I Googled it. It seems to be a pretty art-centered town.
Very cultural.
Oh, okay.
There's music everywhere. There's street art everywhere.
Awesome.
Sometimes it's just graffiti. Sometimes it's huge detailed paintings. Like an artist recently has been going around spray painting, like, scenes from The Simpsons.
Oh, cool.
On wall. So there's one, like, just down the road from my house. There's one I think actually a couple in like opposite directions that are pretty equal distant. Very, very cultural city. It's very nice. It's the town, village that I grew up in. Was not. There was one alternative person, and it was me.
Right, gotcha. Oh, okay, so that was outside of Brighton?
Yeah, very a small village that was mostly inhabited by older people.
Yeah.
Didn't really see people that looked like me very often, and if I did, it was normally on the bus driving past to get out of this little village.
For sure.
It was lovely and scenic. There's the beach and sand dunes and a harbour and a huge nature reserve. It's a wonderful area, but there's not much culture.
Right.
Unfortunate.
How did you discover like the alternative?
Well, I mean, my grandfather had me on heavy metal from a very young age.
Okay.
And Motorhead are my favourite band, have been since I was very, very small.
Yeah.
He had a hard rock CD that he would play in the car when we went out for like drives and stuff like that. Nice. And Ace of Space by Motorhead was on there, and I just something about the bass, the way that the vocals were, I just really liked it.
Nice.
And because once I can't speak, sorry. Once I have it in my mind that I want to know about something, I research very thoroughly to understand it. And so I was like, well, I want to know about this band, and I want to know how that band came to be, and how those bands came to be, and then what's come from.
Awesome.
And it just sort of branched out very quickly into, I've got quite an eclectic taste now.
Yeah, very cool. How old were you when you discovered Motorhead?
I must have been like 6 or 7 when it actually clicked.
Yeah.
Of this band. It was about the same time that I started with vocal lessons and stuff like that. And I remember there was one particular occasion. It was like a little drama theatre group. We had something with I think sock puppets. I'd heard musicians screaming, and I thought it would be really, really funny, being only small, to try and imitate the noise. And it very much around the hall that we were in.
Right.
The instructor was a little bit less pleased with that.
So, how old were you when you found like other alternative people?
When I actually started interacting with people, I mean, I wasn't really allowed to go out with people much when I was a kid. My mother was very overprotective.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't until I was like 16 and got to college and kind of went, you don't leave me alone now, that I actually started physically interacting with people online. I'd been interacting with alternative people for 2 or 3 years. I've been like starting to dress that way since I was like 13, 14.
Yeah. Okay.
Started this one leather jacket that my great grandmother had bought me at the time that had like some roses embroidered on it, and I loved it. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And the leather jacket, it was boots, and then it was jeans, and then it was I don't see anyone else doing like bright, colourful makeup, so maybe I'll do that. And it just sort of very quickly spiraled into, I can just make my own clothes.
That's awesome. And your family didn't try to like stop that, or were they supportive?
I mean, it was kind of, you're weird, but you can't do anything about it. So
Nice.
And then eventually it just became, they're just like that.
That's cool.
It became encouraging.
Yeah.
It was, buy you a leather jacket so you could put patches all over it, and buy you some new boots.
Okay, nice. That's cool. That's good. So wait, you went to college at 16? Is that normal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We leave high school at 16. And then you have free education at the college from 16. I believe it's until you're 19, so that you can get the full year of being 18.
Yeah.
I was there for, I think, just shy of 2 years. I had to drop out, unfortunately. I probably could have stayed there slightly longer, but then I would have had to pay.
Right.
And it's tuition fees are a bit funny.
So you do have to pay for education after a specific age? Oh, interesting. Wow. That's still better than what we got.
It also depends on what you're doing. I think certain courses you have to intrinsically pay for regardless of your age.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, Out of high school at
I think-
16. Interesting. And you can drink at 18, right? I've been to England. I went to
Yeah.
London. Well, I went to a couple different countries when I was 18 years old over in Europe. And unfortunately, I was sick once we reached London, so I didn't really get to see. Like, we went to Leicester Square, and that's all I really remember. And we ate at Domino's, I think, or Pizza Hut.
Yeah, Domino's pizza.
Yeah. It's okay. I've had worse. You know what?
It's okay.
The best loaded potatoes I ever had was at a pub in London. I wish I remembered the name of the place, but they were really good.
Yeah.
So
Classic.
I'm in community college. This is my third time attempting college. This time I'm actually like devoted, going through it. I'm in finals right now. And I just did a presentation for my psychology class on autism. I got 95 out of 100. But what I'm kind of struggling with here, and I was hoping maybe you could give me some ideas, I have to write an essay about disability equality. For some reason, I've chosen how media represents disabled people. Usually it's either in a negative light or very stereotypical.
Very much.
Disabled people are never really even brought up in social justice circles. You know what I mean? Like, highly pushed aside. And as the father of a disabled child, I see the hatred that people literally have for people like him, and it's disgusting and heartbreaking. So if you wouldn't mind, and you don't have to answer, we can go over this. What are some ideas that you, Lucian, have that would make towards it's a solution argument essay. So what would be some ideas that you think we could implement in social media, art, film, books, that whole realm, that all media, all encompassing, to make it more equitable for disabled people?
Well, people need to understand that the group of disabled people is the only minority that everyone can become a part of, just like that.
Right.
You can be born disabled, you can have a freak accident and become disabled.
Mm-hmm.
If you treat disabled people like crap and then in a few years you're disabled, you kind of got to reap what you sow.
Right.
In the media, a lot of it is focused only on people with very, very visible disabilities.
Right.
And I think that people like myself, because if I were just walking on the street and I wasn't using my cane, unless I was limping noticeably because I was having a bad day, a lot of people wouldn't assume that I was disabled.
Okay, yeah.
And I think there needs to be a lot more education around the different ways that disability can look and how easy it is to just accommodate for us.
Right.
Just have a couple of chairs at the edge of the room, and instead of, I've noticed it shows, if there's any chairs, people dump all their stuff on it.
Right.
And so that I need to sit down because my leg hurt, my knee's dislocated, thing like that.
Oh, wow.
Before I sit down and get out the pain, I have to move all this stuff.
Right.
So it's little passive things like that, considering someone might need to sit on that chair and putting your coat somewhere else.
Yeah.
Just any consideration at all.
Right.
Because a lot when we are considered, it's only through infantilization as a liability, as a problem to be solved.
Right.
It's the problem of disabled people, and it's not really a problem. We're just like, if you would actually listen to us a little bit.
Very well put. Very true. 100%. So America has the Americans with Disabilities Act that a lot of people don't follow. Does the UK have something like that?
I think it comes under like fundamental rights that you're not legally able to discriminate against people for being disabled, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, sure. Is ableism pretty bad there?
It's.
It is across the whole world. That's a silly question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really depends on the spaces you're in.
Right.
I've noticed if it's should we say, less diverse in general space, then it's more likely that people will look at me and go, you're not disabled because you can walk.
Right.
And I've actually had conversations with people before, and they've said, unless you're in a wheelchair, you're not disabled. And I'll probably be there in like 10 years' time, but that's not the point. The point is that I'm still disabled now, and I will still be disabled then.
Right, yeah, for sure.
Visual of the wheelchair does not change that.
That's true. You know, I saw, you know, in my research for this essay, I saw a quote from R.J. Mitty. He played the son on Breaking Bad. I don't know if you ever watched that. You know, he has cerebral palsy, and he had a quote in an interview where he was saying, like, if I'm supposed to celebrate a handicap accessible bathroom, then when will I ever be equal? And
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh,
it's treated like a gift to you when it should just be something intrinsic.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
When it actually accommodates you instead of it just being a thing that people do, such as there are just public toilets that simply exist. Right. It's been othered, separated, and then reframed as doing a favour.
Right.
Just giving people the same treatment as everyone else. And if we're expected to constantly congratulate those small little things, hopefully what I'm saying.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, I'll be honest, like I grew up on in an industrial island on a commercial fishing boat, right? So when I started going to school in my hometown in 8th grade, which is also a seaside town like Brighton, also very artistic and cultural. There seems to be a lot of similarities, actually. It's called San Pedro. The only bus that would come get me from the harbor that I was living in was the one for special education. So in 8th grade, you know, I started, you know, I was ableist for sure. Like I thought of myself as different from those kids or whatever. And then later on in 8th grade, I was a TA for special education PE. And I rode that bus till like junior year of high school or something. And then once I had my kid and he got diagnosed about 6 years ago with, nonverbal autism, I was like, oh my God, like I really thought I had consciousness figured out, because of my use of psychedelic drugs. And I just had never really considered how displaced and marginalized disabled people really are in this world. You know, like in my high school, the special education kids, they had to dig in the trash for recycling, and then they had to walk like miles to the recycling center with their teacher and walk those miles back to the high school just for extra funding. I had never considered that. Sorry if it's a sensitive subject.
And I went to an entirely specialist school from the ages of 9 till 16. I was in a unit before that for a year, and before that mainstream school. Left at 8 years old. Autistic. No one knew that I was physically disabled at that point in time, and it was very much brushed off as you're just making it up for attention. You're a kid.
Right.
Why would I listen? And it was, you're a nasty kid because you get into fights, when it was actually, I'm disabled and I'm in a bad mood because I hurt all the time and people are treating me badly.
Right.
Fortunately, the ableism projects into every aspect of life, so much so that even within that specialist school that I was at, there would be kids who would pick on the other kids that were more disabled and be like, I'm not like you, you're a freak. And it's really disheartening because we're all in the same boat.
Right. Yeah.
And so to see disabled people then infighting and picking on other more disabled people so that they can essentially be like, look at me, I'm better, don't treat me badly.
Right.
It's really upsetting.
It is.
I've been seeing the same thing in the queer community lately, unfortunately, with cisgender gay people and trans people.
Right.
There's a lot of very transphobic, mostly gay men around who sort of are like LGB without the T and all that, and it's the same principle of we're in the same boat.
Right.
Stop infighting.
For sure.
You know, then they inherently view you as better because you are still in the same boat with the rest of us.
So you're an artist. How do you think so obviously your band is pretty socially politically conscious, right? What do you think as an artist you or just an artist in general can do to sort of like unite people and get them to realize that, hey, we're all in the same boat, the billionaires are trying to murder us and make us slaves?
Well, humans are a very visual species. If we don't have art if we do not have creativity, we won't really have much left, and people don't realize how huge of a role art plays in their life. Movies and TV and video games, advertisement posters, design, definitely. Everything done by even this queer flag behind me was designed by an artist.
For sure. Clothes,
It's such an important fundamental.
Sorry for asking all these heavy questions.
Oh, you're fine, honestly. Okay. I'm very happy to delve into it.
Okay, cool.
I'd rather have an actual conversation than just get a very short clipped thing.
Right.
Oh, that's better. Very short clip thing.
Right.
That's better. Good.
For sure.
I mean, as an artist, or at least I myself, take it upon myself to speak about my experiences, because if I don't speak about them, who else will?
Right.
If I've got the unique niche, in my case, of intersectionality, of I am queer, and also I'm trans, and also I'm disabled, and I am also someone who is white and has all of the privilege that comes along with that, and therefore have a voice. And so I should be using that to help the people that don't have a voice. And through my art, I guess I view it as an extension of myself in a way. I spend a lot of time trying to convey things that are more feelings and concepts than they are simple paragraphs and sentences, in the hope that people will be moved more by feelings than words.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Well, you're doing a good job with the band. I forgot. My brain stops working sometimes.
Right, mine too.
Yeah, don't drink too much.
A bit late for that.
For sure. So let's get a little happier here. Is there's a nude beach in Brighton?
There is. I've never been to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it said, like Google said, it was like the most easily accessible nude beach in the UK or something like that.
Yeah, it's not. As a trans person, that kind of thing is very daunting. So I've just sort of taken a step back and gone, maybe not for me.
Right.
Like,
oh, okay.
Good for like, go enjoy that, but I don't want to get hate crimed.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry about
whilst
that.
I do live in a very accepting city, unfortunately, there's still everywhere going to be bigots, and
for sure.
Not a gamble that I fancy.
Yeah, that's true. I just remembered what I was going to ask. Has there been a degradation in the arts over the last few years? Like a sort of, not viewing it as important and like showing like bullshit as art rather than actual art?
Well, the definition of art is very, very loose, and everyone has their own internal understanding of it. But I have noticed that people are less creative with their art.
Right.
They will look at what's around them, and instead of making something that they want to make and that is important to them or that matters to them, they look at what's around them and make their version of that, rather than just making something that comes directly from them.
Right.
Like I see a lot of bands who just sort of pick two artists to base their sound on, never deviate, never experiment, and good for them if they want to do that. That's fine. But when it's slowly becoming more and more and more, it gets a little disheartening, and it's even to the point that sometimes you are ostracized for just creating instead of following. Because I could go and I could form a band and I could make really bland pop songs for, to go on the radio and to just make some money, but I don't really want to. I would rather make art that I care about than just churn out iterations of the same thing.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm not a printer, I'm a person,
Yeah, for sure. I like that. Do you believe in a soul?
I would say to an extent there is a breath of life, I suppose. And I'm not someone who will say religion is real 100% or religion is fake 100%. I tend to try and keep it really abstract because otherwise I find myself poring over details and it just it ends up turning into existential crisis.
Right. We don't want that to happen.
I mean, I think a lot more creatures do have soul than people, because I keep small animals. So I've got 3 lizards, I've got a pigeon, and I'm looking after some ice pods for one of my bandmates, actually, our synth and harp player.
Yeah.
And a lot of people dismiss them as just animals doing, functioning like machines just to survive. But yeah, all 3 of my boys, they've got, like, I look over now and one of my geckos is on his glass doing this, looking at. They've all got very, very distinct personalities. They've got their own unique likes and dislikes and niches and complexities to their character. So I think that, in a way, most likely there is a soul, but it's not a concept that I have enough knowledge or understanding on to say whether it definitely is a yes or no.
Right.
And I also think that a lot of things aren't as binary as yes or no.
Right, definitely.
And there's a lot more to it.
Great answer. So would you say that, would you think that it's more like every single thing that exists has like an individual soul, or is it one, like you said, like the breath of life, like sort of like the Atman in Hinduism, like the universal soul? You know how like, sorry to interrupt you, you know how like, at least over here in America, I don't know how it is elsewhere, but like a lot of so-called Christians will teach that God is separate from its creation, or his creation is how they put it, which to me, I think that's like, that's like again, I'm not like a religious person, but I've studied a lot of religions, and if you were to call something blasphemous, I would say it's that, to say that like God isn't ever present, to say that the creator, whatever it is of the universe, whatever blah blah blah, it's separate from us and the rocks and this table and the internet that's making us exist. Like that's kind of like an insult to the very concept of a god.
Well, the way I view it is, when you take the time to create something, you don't necessarily lose a piece of yourself, but you do a piece of yourself in that. In every painting I make, in every set of lyrics I write, there is an element of who I was in exactly that moment that I created it in that piece.
Right.
I think of it more, I suppose, as energy transfer.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot we don't understand, and I'm not someone with very highly educated understanding of these things, so I'm afraid I can't elaborate as much as I would like to.
That was great. Speaking of energy transfer, can you define E equals MC squared?
Oh, no. It's energy equals mass times the speed of light, relating mass to energy. And from what I remember, it's been a long time and I've got this calculator, so maths isn't my strong suit. From what I remember, it is talking about the relativity mass to energy and how they can be interchangeable.
Exactly. Yes, you're the third person I've asked that, and you got it spot on. That's exactly what it is.
I was really scared you were going to go, that's going to go.
No, that's exactly right. It's energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, which means that energy can be converted into matter and matter can be converted into energy, and there's a whole lot of other implications to it too. So yeah, perfect. So on to my next question, and we're going to wrap up soon here in about 10 minutes. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm having a great time. I hope you are as well.
Yeah, no, me too.
Awesome. Cool.
Very much.
Awesome. Do you believe consciousness affects the behavior of subatomic particles? Or let's just say telepathy. or rather telekinesis.
That's another one that I don't have a fundamental understanding of science or processes behind it to explain. Within the realm of physics, I think that most things are possible in some form, and there is probably a way that could be made visually, do the thing and it happens right in front of you.
Right.
But I've never come across anything that does do that yet.
Okay.
So until I do, that won't have seen the physical. I think it's a really interesting question. I don't get asked things like this much, so I don't get to sit and think. And
to be totally clear, I took it from a TV show called 6 Feet Under. I don't know if you ever watched that. It was an old HBO show. Great TV show. I think you might like it a lot, actually. Yeah.
Oh, well, keep it in mind. Yeah, I'll check it out.
You should. It's about a family of they own a, what's the place where you take dead bodies and
crematorium.
No, they
mortuary.
A mortuary. Yeah, they're a family of morticians who live in their mortuary in a house in Los Angeles, and it deals with a lot of stuff. Like the youngest brother is gay, but it starts with him like struggling against that and being in the closet at the beginning of the series, and like the daughter is like young and artistic and rebellious, and the oldest one is like, he's like kind of a hippie, but also like really angry, and he has like a mass in his head, and it's a great fucking TV show, very underrated. I highly recommend it if you're into it. It deals with death every single episode, but they also get into like existentialism and even like psychedelics to a point, and just really like what it means to be surrounded by death like every single day. And mortality, and it's a great TV show. Anyway, sorry, that's my plug for that TV show. Everybody, it's a great show.
Sounds very interesting. I mean, death itself is a concept that's always fascinated me.
Yeah.
As a disabled person, I've spent a lot of my life being told, "Oh, you won't live till you're 15. You won't live till you're 20. Won't live till you're 30," and it goes up every single time. So it's just sort of, whatever. I'm just gonna chill and
for sure.
Death's inevitable, so why be scared?
There you go. Yeah. Well, wow, that's rough.
It's a really interesting concept, I think. And existentialism is a subject that I really like looking at all the little details, which is my autism showing now.
No, I mean, everything is everything, right? Like, life and death are inseparable. One time, so I took acid, like, right after my dad died, and I saw, or whatever, hallucinated, not even really hallucinated, because it was all in my mind, but, like, death, this is what I think happened, or rather, I'm just telling you my interpretation of what I experienced, okay? I'm not saying it happened or it didn't happen, but like death presented itself to me, and it sort of looked like a dark black blanket with like white around the edges, sort of like a Mexican like style blanket, and it like opened up, and it was like right in front of my face.
To embrace.
Well, no, it was like right in front of me, and it like opened up, like vaginally, honestly, and within that was just like utter darkness, like the darkness beyond darkness, black, and for some reason I laughed at it. And it's like, and then it moved on. I was like hallucinating, like the goddess Shakti from Hinduism was dancing on the tip of my tongue, and I saw like a giant vagina goddess monster like fornicating and giving birth to itself in the sky. And I was on a boat on the ocean. It was intense. Yeah. Don't take acid after your one of your parents dies.
Yeah, no, after my dad passed away, I just smoked a bunch of pot and just
right. I mean, what can you really do, like it, just
it's very sudden. So if you're not prepared for these kind of things, it hits you.
Yeah, definitely. I was fucked up for a long time. I would say until my son was born. I was like trying to kill myself with alcohol and just.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah.
But for that and other reasons, it was like a thing on the top of the pile that sort of made me go, "Oh, that's enough of that. Going this way now."
Yeah, exactly. Okay, to wrap up soon here, a couple of minutes. Does Creeping Embers? What are your plans for the future? Like touring, records? You mentioned you're going to do a live record.
Love to. We'd love to do all of it. We've discussed tours. We're going to put out. Our bassist is going to rip us some CDs when we've got our live album all mastered. We've got a friend mixing and mastering that at the moment, and she's incredible.
Awesome.
That is, she really likes the band Cardiacs. Does like a lot of mixes that sound like them, and it's really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, going down one specific branch of the tree there. Plans for merch, there's plans for t-shirts and patches, lighters, and all sorts of stuff.
Nice, yeah.
It's all going to be DIY, and it's all going to be made by us.
Nice.
Really, really looking forward to it. We've got, we have stickers and pins as the merch that we have. Both are made by two separate local artists in Brighton, and they're so cool.
Very cool.
5 or 6, I think, different designs of pin that Matthew does for us. And then we get our stickers from Sigil Stickers, and they're like holographic.
Yeah.
That they've got
nice.
like do them for stick one on the wall of a venue bathroom and be like, yeah, that's shiny.
For sure. Would you like to tell people where they can currently find your music?
Everywhere but Spotify, because fuck Spotify.
For sure, yeah.
Ads funding AI warfare, sampling musicians' work for AI, and platforming AI artists is not a thing we want to be a part of. Platforms that I've heard are a lot more ethical and better to check out.
Yeah.
Would be Cubase and Tidal. I haven't checked them out yet myself. Bandcamp is also a good one because they have, I believe it's the first Friday of every month. They have Bandcamp Friday, where all the money that you spend on the music, every single part of it goes directly to the artist. So that is a very good way to support a small band like us, because that money will then go into band fund for recording and for touring costs and things like that. We're on like most social media as well, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, YouTube.
For sure. Okay, final question before I let you go here. What can one human... I kind of asked you this already, but hopefully it's different. What can one human being do to create a more free and inclusive society? Or aid?
Educate yourself.
Nice.
And stray from prejudice. Think about what you are saying twice over, at least, before you say it. And don't just think about it in the same way. Think, is this harmful? Consider the implications of what you are perpetuating. And if someone, give you a good example, there's a slogan, protect the dolls, which is about trans women, and mostly black trans women, especially trans women of colour, not just black trans women.
Okay.
And a lot of people have tried to make that to include trans men and trans masculine people.
Yeah.
And whilst a lot of the time it's done with the best intention of protect everyone, it is still silencing those people and saying, you shut up, because they matter too. It's the same as responding to Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter.
Okay.
Yes, they do. But that group of people is a group of people going through persecution and having more unpleasant elements forced into their life. So as a person, one of the best things you can do is listen to what other people have to say about their experiences. And if you hear that a thing that you like, a creator, is racist, or they're transphobic, or they're sexist, or whatever it is, do some research to see if they are, and if they are, stop supporting them. A lot of people will continue to support artists and popular figures, famous people, just because they like the content and the media that they're in.
True.
And completely ignore the ideology. J.K. Rowling's a huge example.
Right.
She got huge amounts of money to anti-trans organisations. She was directly tied to the Supreme Court ruling we've just had that says trans women aren't women.
Oh, wow.
All because people won't let go of Harry Potter, which is... I used to really like Harry Potter, but it's poorly written, full of racism and other harmful stereotypes.
Sure.
You know, there's the only black character is called Kingsley Shacklebolt, and the only really prominent Asian character is called Cho Chang. Like, there is very obvious racism there, and that is okay, but people want to gloss over it because wizards and magic.
Right.
So I think to help everyone, you have to consider your impact. Because if you just breeze through life, doing everything entirely for yourself, you will leave a trail of racism and microplastics that will be affecting people for generations to come after you.
For sure. Well put. All right, awesome. Yeah, well, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much, Luciyan, for coming on. Everybody, please follow Creeping Embers wherever you can. Listen to their music. Great band. I truly mean that. Thank you for watching. Let's Ruin Our Lives. Please hit like, comment. How about leaving some comments on these videos? Say whatever you want.
See what people have to.
You know, insult me. No one ever insults me. It's getting kind of old. Subscribe on YouTube. There are 3 podcasts on the channel. As if you're watching this, you probably know. Let's Ruin Our Lives, Pinky Pod, and Mic Check. And yeah, don't actually ruin your life and try to help others. Luciyan, you're a very wise person, wise beyond your years, my friend. So thank you so much for coming on. And for everybody watching, mahalo.
I know, but I'd rather be blind in heaven than sighted in hell.
Guess it really isn't sin. There's a better way to get your super bug. Don't read no magazine or some stupid book. You care about what people think because you're insecure. You don't want your heart and you're all not too sure. Take some words of wisdom to play a simple vice. And you can live to live without sure be nice. Start your own trend.